Hello future engineers, subscribers, viewers, and students. There is a video in Differential Calculus 3, Part 1. It's about maxima minima problems, although I'll also present the case for differentials and problems on time rates. So these are the topics to be considered only for this part. It's about maxima minima problems, and I'll present the solutions to problems in a conventional or traditional way, although I also suggest techniques of how to deal with them so that those who are preparing for their licensure exams can have the calculator techniques as guide or reference to solving problems in calculus. So for the principles on maxima minima problems, we have here to sketch graphs of function. So relationship between two variables, they form hills and valleys like this. And we have here the left endpoint and right endpoint and all other points. So with the considering the closed interval a to b, if you look at the figure, then the left endpoint is the lowest point in this situation, and the right endpoint is the highest point in this situation. But these are only possibilities. The curve may be looking like this, so that the lowest point is absolutely minimum. It occurs between the closed intervals. So considering the closed interval a to b, we say that this point is the highest. So for this closed interval, that's the absolutely maximum point. So the maximum or minimum value of function may occur in three possible ways: at the left endpoint, at the right endpoint, or at the point where the derivative or y prime is 0. So these are the possibilities. We have to consider these three possibilities in order to make sure that we are answering the problem. The problem. So at the closer interval AB here, the function is maximum absolutely when y prime is 0. The slope here is 0 and it is the highest. So that's why it is the absolutely maximum point. At the closed interval B to C, this point is the lowest. So we say that the function has absolutely minimum value at this point where y prime is 0 also. So that's y prime equals 0, and for this case y prime is also 0. However, if we consider the closed interval A to C, then this is the lowest point and that's the highest point. So at the left endpoint, the function has an absolute minimum value considering the closed interval A to C. And at the right endpoint, the function has an absolute maximum value considering the closed interval A to C. So these are the three possibilities, and whenever you are confronted with problems on maxima minima, you have to, aside from uh, deriving the expression for the slope, you also evaluate the left endpoint and the right endpoint. Maybe the absolute maximum value occurs there, or the absolute minimum value occurs there. So for differentials, these are used to uh, estimate the relative error of the other quantity when the other when the first quantity undergoes a small change. So we can also use this in approximating errors of one quantity when the other quantity changes by a very small amount. So differentials are small quantities that are used to approximate errors of one quantity as its dimension is measured with a specified error. So this approach is acceptable within certain degree of accuracy. So of course, if the change is very small, then the corresponding error calculated in the other quantity would be acceptable because it is also very small. So if y is x, then the differential of y is dy and the differential of x is dx. If volume equals x cubed, then the differential of volume is dv. The differential of x cubed is 3x squared times the differential of x. So take note, we have to multiply further the differential by the differential of the independent variable, in which in this case x. So where dv is the approximate error in the calculated volume whenever the error in the dimension x is differential x. So dv over v is called the relative error in the calculated volume. If we multiply this by 100%, it becomes the percentage error in the calculated volume. So to demonstrate, let's us have this circular region, circular area, and let us say the radius is measured with an error differential r. So this is highly magnified and not to scale, of course. The error will not be that much. So if that is the radius and the error, which is unknown but can be made small by good practices in measuring length, dimensions, or distance. So that's the differential error in the measured radius r. So this area between the outer boundary and the inner boundary is the error in the calculated area if we are going to compute for the area. It may also be the error in the calculated volume if this is spherical in shape. So let's just consider that as an area, so that because area of a circle is pi r square, so this is the differential area, which is the differential of pi r square. So if area is pi r square, differential area is 2 pi r times dr. So this makes sense because if we cut this band, circular band, and flatten it out, it looks like a rectangle of length 2 pi r approximately, and the thickness or height is dr. So if you're going to interpret this is length or the circumference, length of the rectangular strip or band, and times the thickness dr. So circumference times dr. So that's for that situation. Now for the principles on time rates, that is changes due to time, time rate of change, that's the other term. So rates of change of quantities with respect to time. Some basic examples are ds dt or the velocity, derivative of velocity with respect to time or acceleration, and the derivative of volume with respect to time or the discharge, or we call this volume flow rate. So these are examples of time rates or quantities that change with time. So to solve a problem on time rates, express the required time rate in terms of the other variables or variables. These auxiliary variables can also be related by means of their geometric relationships or Pythagoras theorem or some given or emphasized statement. So it may be uh, the other quantity varies as x, or just like in variation problems, uh, as long as it is emphasized. If not, then they can be related by these geometric relationships. Most common would be Pythagoras theorems if the problem involves right triangles. So the resulting equation will be easy to differentiate with respect to time. Then that would be the resulting expression for the time rate. For maxima minima problems, identify the quantity to be maximized or minimized. Formulate an equation for that quantity, for that dependent quantity, the quantity Q in terms of the quantity to be maximized or minimized. Then, like in time rates, the other variables, auxiliary variables, may be related by these geometric relationships, Pythagoras theorem, or it may be emphasized in the given problem statement. So let's now have these sample problems. So take note that when we formulate and differentiate it with respect to the independent variable, the derivative is interpreted as slope. So that's why if we're going to compute for the maximum value, because the slope at the highest, or minimum value, the slope of the tangent at the lowest, so the slopes are zeros. So that's why after differentiating, we equate the function, the derivative, to zero. But remember that there are three possible occurrences of the maximum or minimum value, not only at the point where the first derivative is zero. So it may be at the left endpoint, at the right endpoint, or at the point where y prime is zero. Now, if it occurs at the point where y prime is zero, you have to consider concavity to test it by evaluating the second derivative. So if the second derivative, which is represented by concavity, is positive, so it means the curve is concave up, and at the point where the first derivative is zero, it is minimum there. So it is concave up if the second derivative is positive. If the second derivative is negative, concave down, so it means at the point where the first derivative is zero, the function has a maximum value there. So I hope you can remember that. So this is the first example. The sum of two positive numbers is k. What are the numbers if the product of the first by the cube of the second of the other is a maximum? So in order to shorten the video, there's no need to animate the solution. Just explain it. So given, let us denote the two numbers as x and y. So x plus y equals k, and we are targeting maximum product of the first by the cube of the second, but let us generalize by making the exponent of the first as m. In this case, it's 1, and making the exponent of the other number as n. In this case, 3, to generalize the problem. So product, the quantity to be maximized, is set up first, then replacing y by k minus x in this case. So product is x to the m, quantity k minus x to the m, leaving only one variable, which is x. So differentiating this product, dp dx equals first x to the m times the derivative of the second by power formula n times quantity k minus x to the n minus 1. Then the derivative of k minus x is negative 1. Then plus second, quantity k minus x to the n, derivative of the first is mx to the m minus 1. Of course, derivative of x is 1. So then equate to 0 because this is maxima minima problems. Then transpose this first term, which is negative, to the right to become positive. And rewrite this as quantity k minus x to the n, then mx to the m because there is minus 1, so we divide that by x. Then this becomes positive to the right. So we have nx to the m, then quantity k minus x to the n minus 1, and we rewrite that as quantity k minus x to the n divided by k minus x, or k minus x quantity to the 1. So we cancel k minus x to the n and x to the m. So simplifying, we have m over uh, m times k minus mx equals n times x. So mk equals x times quantity m plus n. That means the first number is its exponent divided by sum of exponents times the sum of the two numbers. So it's easy to remember. It's just exponent over sum of exponents times the sum of the numbers. Therefore, y is the exponent of the second number, n over sum of exponents times k. So in this problem, because m is 1 and n is 3, x, the first number with the power just 1, is k over 4, 1 over 4 times k, or k over 4. And the second number is 3 over 4 of k. So that's it. I hope that you understood the solution. Example 2, the sum of 5 positive numbers is 10. What is their maximum product? So for their maximum product, let's set up the formula for product. It is, let us say the numbers are A, B, C, D, E. And based on the first example, each number is its power divided by sum of powers times the sum. It is 10. Because each number has the same power of 1, then these numbers are equal. So A equals B equals C equals D equals E equals 1, the power of any number, divided by 5, because there are 5 numbers, so the sum of powers is 5. Then the sum of the 5 positive numbers, 10, so times 10. So each number is 2. Therefore, the product, maximum product, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the 5th. So it is 32. Example 3. The sum of two positive numbers is 10. What is the sum? What is the maximum sum of their cubes? So the first number is x, so it is x cubed. The sum of two numbers is 10, so x plus second number is 10, so the second number is 10 minus x. So this is the expression for the sum of the cubes of the two numbers. So differentiating s means sum with respect to x, so we have 3x squared plus 3 quantity 10 minus x to the 2, and derivative of 10 minus x negative 1 equals 0. So we cancel out 3, transpose this term to the right. So we have x squared left here. Then this becomes quantity 10 minus x squared. Extract the square root. So x is equal to 10 minus x. 2x equals 10. So that means x is 5. Let us evaluate the second derivative. If this value of x, so the second number is also 5, 10 minus 5, will give us the maximum value of their cubes. So s double prime from here, s double prime is 6x, then negative 3 times 2, so negative 6, quantity 10 minus x to the 1, and derivative of 10 minus x is negative 1. If we simplify this, s double prime is 60, positive 60. So that means uh, the graph between s and x would be concave up, and at the point where x is 5, s prime is minimum, as revealed here, because the graph is concave up. So that means at the point where the slope is 0, it is minimum. So this gives minimum sum of 250. So the answer of 250 is not the maximum. We are looking for the maximum. By principle, the maximum value occurs maybe at the left or at the right endpoint. So if occurs at the left, then that means the first number is 10 and the second number is 0. Same is true if it occurs at the right, the first number is 0, the second number is 10. So the maximum sum of the cubes is 10 cube, which is 1000. Example 4, a rectangular building is to be erected inside a triangular lot with perpendicular sides measuring 30 by 40 meters. If the building should face the longest side of the lot, what is the largest floor area of a building that can be erected? Would the answer matter if the building is laid on the perpendicular sides of the lot? So let's answer that. I'll generalize the situation. So I'm not considering right triangular lot. This is a right triangular lot because the dimensions are 30 by 40, and it is mentioned here that the perpendicular sides 30 by 40. So I just consider this triangular lot in general, and this is the rectangular floor area of the building. I'll denote the dimensions of the rectangular area as x and y, and base of the triangular lot b given, but we'll just denote it with b, and the altitude also h given. We'll just denote it by h. So by similar triangles, this is h minus y. We have this triangle similar with a bigger triangle. So this is h minus y as to x equals h as to b. Solving for x, x is b over h quantity h minus y. So area is x times y. This is the quantity to be maximized. So area equals x b over h quantity h minus y times y. Let's distribute first. Area is b over h hy minus y squared. Differentiate area with respect to the remaining variable, which is y. dA dy equals constant b over h quantity h minus 2y, then equate to 0. 0 times h over b is still 0. So that means h minus 2y equals 0. So y is h over 2. If y is h over 2 into this equation, b over h quantity h minus h over 2, so x is b over 2. So the dimensions of the rectangular building of greatest area that can be inscribed in a triangular lot is correspondingly one half of the perpendicular dimensions. So to easily recall that, the dimensions of the biggest rectangular lot or building that can be erected in a triangular lot is such that the perpendicular dimensions of the building or the dimensions of the building would be half correspondingly to the parallel dimensions. So b over 2 times h over 2. So area max is bh over 4. And we're going to interpret this because the area of the triangle is 1/2 bh. This is also half of the area of the triangle. So it's easy to recall. The greatest rectangular lot that can be inscribed in a triangle has an area half of the triangular lot. So it's easy to remember. So in this case, the dimensions b and h are given 30 times 40 over 4. So area max is 300 square meters. Then would the answer matter if the building is laid on the perpendicular sides of the lot? The answer is no, because from the result here, the corresponding dimensions would be half of the uh, corresponding parallel dimensions, or the area of the largest rectangular building, floor area of the largest rectangular building is 1/2 of the area of the lot, triangular lot. Sample 5. Determine the ratio of the height to diameter of the most economical cylindrical can. The ratio of the height to the dimension, if it is of square base, will be the same. And when we say cylindrical can, it has closed ends. So therefore, because we have here economical can. It means it talks about the lowest price of the can. And when you manufacture this can, you need to buy uh, tin sheets, or if it is made of tin, and it is a function of the area and the thickness. Assuming the thickness is constant, then it is just a function of the area. So let us denote K as the unit price of the cylindrical sheet of maybe tin or any material, and it is in terms of money per square units of area. So that's why we multiply it by the total surface area. So it is cos equals K quantity area of the base circular. The diameter is X, the height is Y. So pi X square over 4. Then we multiply by 2 because there are two identical areas, circular areas. Then plus lateral area, which is if you cut that vertically and flatten it out, it appears to be a rectangle of length, circumference, pi times diameter, circumference, times the height, y. Simplifying and factoring out pi, so cos is pi k quantity x squared over 2 plus xy. Now, x and y can be related because the volume should be fixed because we are just computing for the ratio of height to the diameter. So volume is area of the circle times height, pi over 4 x squared times y. So that means y in terms of volume and x is 4v over pi x squared. Substitute into this equation. So cos is pi k quantity x squared over 2 plus x times 4v over pi x squared. Simplifying. So cos is pi k quantity x squared over 2 plus 4v over pi, then 1 over x. Remember that the derivative of 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. Or you may use power formula for that. So differentiating the cost, minimizing it. So derivative of cost with respect to x is pi k quantity 2x over 2 or x plus constant 4v over pi, derivative of 1 over x. With respect to x is negative 1 over x squared. Then we equate to 0. So x, transpose this to the right, is 4v over pi x squared, replacing the value of v, which is pi over 4 x squared y. So we can cancel 4, we can cancel pi, we can cancel x squared. What remains in the right side is y. So x is y. Therefore, the ratio of height y to diameter x is simply 1. Example 6. And I want you to recall it. If we have a closed figure, even if it is of square base, the ratio of height to the dimension of the square is still 1. If it is closed. If it is open top, only one is closed, then by experience, the height should be equal to half the diameter for that case. Again, the height should be equal to half the diameter. You may have a problem like that. Find the shortest distance between point 4, 2 and the curve y squared equals 8x. Y squared equals 8x is a parabola open to the right, length of latus rectum 8. So when we plot 4, 2 is here, not on the curve, and we have a point here which is closest, somewhat closer to this point here at x, y. Then x, y should satisfy the equation of that curve. So as a technique, so but if it is the distance that is asked, then this is not given unless the question is finding the point on the curve nearest to this external point 4, 2. Then we can check, we can have the technique of evaluating the distance between 2 points, and the one that is lowest, or the one that gives the minimum value, is the point x, y that is closest to this external point. So that's the idea. But this problem is asking for the shortest distance, so we have nothing to do except to find that shortest distance by the traditional approach, no technique for this case. So distance formula, distance square, Pythagoras theorem, is equal to quantity x minus 4 square plus quantity y minus 2 square. Differentiate, replacing x in terms of y, the relationship is from this equation. So x is y square over 8, then minus 4 quantity square plus y minus 2 quantity square. So leaving d in terms of one variable only, so we are now ready to differentiate. Derivative of d square is 2d, derivative of d with respect to y equals, this is power formula, 2 times quantity y square over 8 minus 4 raised to 1, then the derivative of y square over 8 is 2y over 8. Then plus 2 quantity y minus 2 raised to 1, derivative of y minus 2 is just 1. Then equate to 0, then we have to cancel 2 for each term. So distribute, we have 2y squared over 8 times y over 8, that is y cubed over 32. Then negative 8 times, because we already canceled 2, so negative 8 times y over 8 is negative y. Then we already canceled 2, so this is just y minus 2 equals 0. Cancel out y and negative y. So y cubed over 32 is 2, y cubed is 64. So that means y is 4. When y is 4, x is, from this equation, 4 squared over 8, 4 squared over 8x. So x is 2. The nearest distance, therefore, substitute into the original formula, quantity distance square is quantity 2 minus 4 square plus quantity 4 minus 2 squared. So that's 8. Square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2 units. So that's it for that problem. Example 7. Two towns A and B are to get their water supply from the same pumping station to be located on the bank of a straight river. So this is the situation. We have a river and the bank is straight. The pump is located on that straight bank. And we have two towns, A and B. So that is 15 kilometers from town A and 10 kilometers from town B. So this straight bank is 15 kilometers from town A, that's perpendicular distance of course, and 10 kilometers from town B. If the points on the river nearest to A and B are 20 kilometers apart, so this point here, this point and that point are the points on the river closest to the towns, and they are 20 kilometers apart. And A and B are on the same side of the river, so same side, A and B, towns A and B. Where should the pumping station be located so that the least amount of piping is required? So let us denote it. It's located here, and its distance from the point here on the straight bank river closest to A is x. Therefore, its distance from the other point closest to from the other point on the straight river closest to town B is 20 minus x. So where should the pumping station be located so that the least amount of piping is required? So that means we are going to minimize this length of pipe and that pipe there. So there are varieties of problems to this. As long as we are just computing for the length, or maybe minimizing the distance as long as the speed is the same of the boat, for example. So another variation of this problem would be we have a post here and another post, and they are connected with a wire, and the wire should be staked on the ground, and the problem asks for the minimum length of wire so that the wire connects the top of the post, the top of the post, then to the stake, then another top of the post. Another problem would be we have here, let us say, two ships, and a boat is from this first ship here with constant speed, and the passenger should be dropped here without loss of time, and the boat will proceed to the other boat, the other ship B, with the shortest time possible. So same rate. So that's the other variety of this problem. But if uh, the type of pipe connecting town A to this pumping station is different from the type of pipe from pumping station to B, so the cost would be different, then it is the cost that should be minimized in order to have uh, economical uh, pipe, economical pipe for that case. So that's a different case. So let's move on. So we're going to minimize the length of this pipe, this length and that length there. So the length is, for this case, square root of x squared plus 15 squared. For that length, P to be square root of quantity 20 minus x squared plus 10 squared. So differentiating, because length is a function of x alone, so derivative of square root of u, remember, is the derivative of u, derivative inside, divided by 2 square root of u. Same is true with that. So derivative of x squared is 2x over 2 square root of u, plus derivative of this another square root of u, derivative inside 2 quantity 20 minus x times negative 1 for derivative of negative x, all over 2 square root of quantity 20 minus x squared plus 10 squared. So we cancel 2 and transpose this to the right. So we have x over square root of x squared plus 15 squared equals 20 minus x over square root of 20 minus x squared plus 10 squared. Then we square both sides and cross multiply at the same time. So you have x squared quantity 20 minus x squared plus 10 squared equals quantity 20 minus x squared times x squared plus 15 squared. Distribute, so we have x squared 20 minus x squared plus 10 squared x squared equals x squared quantity 20 minus x squared plus 15 squared times 20 minus x quantity squared. We cancel these two like terms here. So leaving 10 square x squared equals 15 square quantity 20 minus x squared. We extract the square root, so we have 10x equals 15 quantity 20 minus x. Rearranging x over 15 equals 20 minus x over 10. So that you have to experience this problem. Of course, common sense, the shortest or the minimum length of pipe is obtained if we reflect this length about this straight bank. So, of course, the shortest distance would be that distance or that length of pipe which will be straight like this. So if we reflect that, that should be straight. And so we have two similar triangles, which is the result here, even if we do not continue. So we have similar triangles. I call that theta, that's also theta. So x adjacent as to opposite equals adjacent 20 minus x as to opposite, which is 10, because that is 10, this is also 10. So that's the result. You may encounter the same problem and charge it to your experience that the shortest length of pipe is such that we just straighten that, we just reflect the other length about that straight path, and of course common sense, that should be the shortest length of pipe. If point P is here, it's inclined, so it's not the shortest. So that's it. You may proceed directly to this idea that we have similar triangles whenever you are confronted with the same problem. So x therefore is equal to 15 times 20 divided by 10x plus 15x, 25. So x, 25x, so divided by 25. So x is 12 kilometers. Therefore, the pumping station should be placed 12 kilometers from the point on the straight river, straight bank, closest to town A. So that's the idea. So if that is 12, this is 8 kilometers. Sample 8. A powerhouse is on one edge of a straight river and factory on the other edge, 100 meters downstream. The river is 50 meters wide. It costs 400 pesos per meter to run electric cable across the river and 280 pesos on land. What length of cable should be run on land to minimize the cost? So let us say this is the situation. We have here the length of cable when run on land. Call that X. We are looking for X. Then before it changes direction to the factory which crosses the river. And therefore, this is 100 minus X because that's 100 meters. This is 50 meters. This is also 50 meters. The cost, therefore, is a function of the length of cable. And for the length of cable run on land, it is 280 pesos per meter. Then the length is X. Then plus across the river, it's 400. And the length of this, by Pythagoras theorem, square root of quantity 100 minus X square plus 50 square. So since cost is just a function of X, we differentiate it with respect to X. So 280 plus this is square root of U. So 400 derivative of U. 2 quantity 100 minus X times negative 1 over 2 square root of U. So cancel out 2, transpose this to the right. So we have 280 equals 400 times quantity 100 minus X over square root of quantity 100 minus X square plus 50 square. These two are divisible by 40. So 280 divided by 40 is 7. 400 divided by 40 is 10. Then square both sides, cross multiply. 7 squared times quantity 100 minus X squared plus 50 squared equals 10 squared times quantity 100 minus X squared. So we distribute 7 squared times 50 squared left here. Then this 7 squared 100 minus X squared and 10 squared 100 minus X squared are like terms. Combined, 100 minus 49 is 51 of quantity 100 minus X squared. Extract the square root. So 70 times 7 times 50 equals square root of 51, 100 minus X. So 7 times 50 over square root of 51 equals 100 minus X. So X is 100 minus 7 times 50 over square root of 51. And that is approximately 51 meters. Now for the calculator techniques, since it is length that should be run on land to minimize the cost, once this situation is set up, for the board exam purposes, there will be choices for X. Then you set up this in your calculator, then press calculate. The one that gives the lowest value of C, that gives the value of X. That minimizes the cost. So that's the technique. There are 4 choices for X. Then you evaluate this expression for the cost. Then the value of X that corresponds to lowest C is the answer. So that's it for this problem.